Hey guys, it's Amber from MicroArtistry, and today I want to talk to you about the Fitzpatrick Scale for skin tones and also about undertones of the skin. So I'm going to keep it very simple, alright? So Fitzpatrick 1 is going to be your most fair, generally blue eyes, green eyes, red hair, freckles, blonde hair, in that range. Fitz 2 is going to be about the same. Freckles, maybe not. Blue eyes, maybe hazel eyes. But these two generally aren't going to tan. They'll usually burn in the sun. And they might have pink undertones. Like their skin might turn pink if they go for a run, okay? Or if it's cold outside. So then we're moving on to type 3, which has fair to beige with golden undertones in the skin. So when their skin is, if they're out for a run, it's not necessarily going to turn pink. It'll just be like a little bit warm, but you're not going to like be red. Type 4 is what I would consider myself. I always say that I'm a Fitzpatrick 4. So olive or light brown skin. Definitely tans in the summer, but if you're not out in the sun, then you're kind of more of like this light brown color. And then we have dark brown, Fitz 5, which rarely freckles, almost never burns, and always tans. And then we have Fitz 6, which is deeply pigmented dark brown or darkest brown. Never freckles, never burns, always tans. So in general, let's talk about undertones. So in general, the undertones of these two Fitzpatricks, 1 and 2, are going to be cool. So when you see pink in the skin, usually people think pink equals warm, but that's not true. Pink equals cool skin. So when we're thinking about how to do this person's brows, we have to warm up their skin, okay? If we use cool tones on this, it's not gonna look right. And it's just the way that the undertones of the pigment work with the undertones of the skin. You have to warm the cool skin. You can do neutral tones on neutral skin, and then you need to do cooler tones on warm skin. So I hope that that makes sense as like a general rule. So we need to warm, we can use neutral, which could be warm or cool, or just neutral. And then for these ones, we're gonna use cool because the skin tone's already warm. Okay, so let's talk about that as it relates to Bronsun in a sort of generic way. So we are sending these new Bronsun color guides out for free. If you go on MicroArtistryAcademy.com, you're going to get access to 3 files currently, and I have another file that I'm creating that's going to take some time to get out there because I don't want it to be, I want it to be right, so I'm working on that. And so basically, gel dye Bronsun, this is translated from Russian, so you're going to have to bear with it. If we're talking about number 1, black, it's going to be used for eyelash tinting, or you can create cooler shades during eyebrow tinting. It has a cool base. So who's this going to be best on if you're using it on an eyebrow? If we're going to cool down the skin, who are we going to use that on? Right, we're going to use it on like a Fitz 5 or 6 because they have warm skin, right? So we got a cold base here, and they're telling us it's cold. Now, number 2, graphite, is going to be a cold base, has a blue-green core. We're going to talk, I have a different video coming about the color wheel and how that relates to all of this. So cold base, so that's going to cool down a color, okay? So what I always say is graphite and red chestnut are toners. So this isn't, you can use it as a color on the skin, and people do, but I usually use graphite to cool down a warm color. So number 3 is blue-black. And so blue-black is usually used in with your regular black for an eyelash tint. You really don't want to use that by itself for an eyelash tint because it's basically like blue. I've done it before, trust me. You don't want to make my mistakes. So deep intense shade for eyelash tinting, perfect for those who want more than regular black, and it can also be used to neutralize yellowness. It has a blue core, so it's a cold base. So if we're going to use this, we can use it as a toner, or we can use it with our deep black for eyelash tinting. That's like all I use this for. Okay, now chestnut is neutral. So who are we gonna use this on? Let's go back to our Fitzpatrick scale. Chestnut is like a gorgeous warm brown, and I think people think it's like red because it's kind of called chestnut, and I think chestnut in people's minds equals red, but I don't think it's red when it's on the skin. So chestnut can be used here, here, or even here for any of these clients. It's a neutral color, and any of these clients, but she's probably going to want something darker, okay, in order for it to show up on the skin. So 3 and 4, all right? So if you want something that's like the perfect medium brown, it has a yellow-green base, it's neutral, chestnut, okay? And then we have red chestnut, which I also would call a toner, just like I said earlier. So red chestnut is basically red. For ginger red mahogany hair, used for creating new colors and correcting unwanted shades. Has a warm base and a red-orange core. So we're gonna wanna warm up a cool color with red chestnut. I don't use that by itself, but I've seen some work, and it needs to be like on fire engine red, like dyed hair, okay? All right, a couple more, real quick. I don't wanna take up too much of your guys' time, already at 6 minutes. So light brown is my favorite color. It's the most easily mixable, I think. And I get a lot of clients who are like Fitz 3-4 in my studio, 2-3-4, and you can use this on anybody. Fits 1 to 4 and blend it up with different colors, and it's beautiful. So I use it by itself a lot, and people like to blend this with graphite a lot. Whatever makes you happy. So this is a warm base. So if we have a cool undertone, remember, who's your cool undertone? These two, okay? So these two are gonna get a warming color, right? So we're gonna warm them up with number 5. And sometimes it's too warm, then you can add graphite. But I honestly have not had that. I haven't had that problem. I love that color. Okay, so this one has a yellow core and a warm base. Brown. So number 6 is brown, an intense shade for clients with dark blonde hair. Has a blue-green core and a neutral base. So brown can be used for anybody in this region, all right? Unless somebody here has like dark natural hair, I wouldn't even call them a 2. They'd probably be over here in a 3, okay? So I would say brown number 6 can be used here for anybody. It's a neutral, and try it by itself. If you find that it needs to be warmed up, add some red chestnut, or you could even use chestnut, but it's a little bit lighter. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about, I'm gonna do a different video. I've got a series, okay? So I'm gonna do a different video that has like what levels are these. If you're thinking about hair color levels, we're gonna do that also. And let's see. So we're gonna say brown can be used for Fitz 3, 4, 5. And then we have dark brown, which is cool. And we're gonna put cool colors on warm undertones, right? So who's Fitz 7 for? It's gonna be for these two. Or even, I don't know, for me, if I was gonna do it, I would probably use a number 6 for me, and I'm a 4. So number 6 for me. And number 7 for Fitz 5 and 6. If this isn't dark enough, what are we gonna do? We are going to add just a tiny bit of, not that, yes, this, black. We're gonna add a tiny bit of black if it's not dark enough, okay? Now, that's basics, all right? We're gonna talk in depth about each color, and I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm working on that sheet that's gonna give you like my version of what like this would be on a like regular color hair color chart, what each Bronsun is gonna be when it's on a hair color chart. Okay, but in the meantime, I hope this makes sense. If you guys have questions, please comment below. It's hard for me because when I've been a hairstylist for almost 20 years now, which is like a long time. And so I think that things that kind of come naturally to me, like, oh, I totally understand that, it's not, people don't understand that the same way, you know. And also definitely like a lot of people who are using these products are estheticians, so they're not getting that hair color knowledge in school. So we have to kind of take a step back, learn a little bit of basics about the hair color knowledge and skin knowledge, all that stuff. Like how does the Bronsun, like dyes, if this makes sense, how do the dyes in the Bronsun interact with the skin tones and the undertones, okay? And it's not that hard once you figure it out, but I just want you guys to sort of see this visual, and then I've got some in-depth videos coming, okay? Hope that makes sense. Please comment if it doesn't, and I'll try hard to explain. Thanks.